today we are going to do a little farmhouse DIY. We are going to turn these Amazon lamps into a cute antique looking DIY. So I am first just starting off by wiping these down. These bad boys get super dusty sitting in our room, so I'm going to wipe everything down, including the light bulbs and the lampshades, and just get everything clean so there is a nice base for everything to stick on. And once that is all set, I am using Rub and Buff. I will link down below the one that I used. I got it off of Amazon, and I am rub and buffing everything on this lamp. The entire base of the lamp, except for where the light bulb goes in, I am hitting with this antique gold brassy color. I think this has a really nice sort of vintage look, especially with the black underneath. I think it gives it a really cool vibe. And I'm just going to take this, like I said, and go absolutely everywhere, including on top of the little switch that turns this light on and off. And this is a nice little side-by-side of seeing the before and the after. I love the gold. It gives such a nice, warm tone. Now, when it comes to covering the lampshades, do not do what I did, which was cut a straight piece of fabric like I'm showing right here. The lampshade is more on an angle, so it's more of a cone shape. So I goofed with that, and I luckily had enough fabric left over to fix this for both lampshades. I only cut once for this particular piece of fabric. So you do not want a straight piece of fabric, you want more of an angled piece of fabric. So I recommend doing what I did in the sense of rolling it onto the fabric to see how much you would need, but then just kind of follow that path, because it will give you a better idea of the direction of the fabric, because again, a straight piece of fabric will not work, and that is what I am discovering here in these first few clips. So once I figured that out, I went back and I took off what I had hot glued, and then I just put the entire piece down in front of me and then sort of hot glued and rolled as I went, so that way I knew I had enough fabric that would cover the entire lampshade. And as soon as I had the entire lampshade covered, I went back and just cut off the extra. I go back here and I cut it a little bit closer, so that way I know I have enough for my other lampshade. And then I also cut off the extra that is on the top as well. Now, since this is going to be on an angle, I did take the iron and I just kind of straightened out my crease a little bit before gluing it on, and it ended up giving me this really cool sort of diagonal pattern that I liked a lot more than I thought I was going to, but this was a really neat way to kind of seal off the extra fabric that I had. Now, as I said before, I'm going to cut off all these extra little scraps and bits at the top. If you are really trying to make this look pretty seamless, you can take a little bit more time folding in the extra scrap pieces than I did. I was originally thinking that I would do an extra piece of fabric on the outside at the top and at the very bottom of the lamp, where I would have a piece of fabric almost maybe a ½ inch in size that would just go around the very top and also the bottom to kind of cover up what you would see, and that you'll see later, where those little scrap pieces, you can kind of see it when you have the light on, and you can see it when the sun comes through. You can see the irregularity of it. That doesn't bother me that much, so I just went ahead and continued to do what I was doing and folded everything in and glued it. If you are more a perfectionist when it comes to that kind of stuff, you can make these even shorter or just be more on top of how you're folding them and gluing them in. Once I got all that situated with my first lampshade, I went ahead and did the same exact thing with my second one. I was super excited with how these turned out. I wanted something that was a lot more warm and comforting and cozy in our bedroom, and this did exactly that. I absolutely adore how these turned out. I love the warm light that we have in here as well. This was such a fun DIY project that if you just have an afternoon, a couple of hours, you can easily get done. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below. I make 2 new videos every single week on all things homemaking, sourdough, and country living. I hope you enjoyed this DIY, and I will see you in my next video.